Do y'all hear that? I'm just sitting here looking at this. I'm like, I love this time of year, right? This time of year is perfect because there's only a couple bugs out. I don't know what type of fly this is. I just caught it in my hand. See? And he's just chilling. I don't know what type of fly that was or whatever, but he's pretty cool. And, that shit was weird that it just happened, like, just like that. Not gonna front, but, like, I was just sitting here, out here connecting, and I'm like, it's been a while since I've sat here and connected. I do got a little cold, so don't mind me. I might sound a little sick, but, I was just thinking about how there's a difference between connection and attachment. I was talking about this in a post the other day, and I was talking about how, in my own personal opinion, I think that connection is just something that's there, and attachment is something that you have to work on, like you have to try, like it's something that two things can do, but it's hard to explain. And it's not that one is good and one is bad. They all have their place into what is, because it's all just what is, right? And so in my personal opinion, I think attachment is, like I said, something that needs to be worked on. Like, two people can build an attachment towards each other, you know, with each other, but it's not necessarily good, but it's not necessarily bad. You know, it's that, the funny thing is, all of these things are all connected into the same thing, right? Like, attachment is in connection, affection, love, they all tie into relationships. Whether it's relationships with people, whether it's relationships with, you know, like family, your kids, your mom, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever, right? Connections can be just with friends, right? You can have a spiritual connection with people where it's like, you could just, you know, like, you ever met those people where it's like you can conversate with them like you've known them for years, even though you've only known them for like, I don't know, a week or two? Like, because that's what I was saying, is that connection is something that can be felt. Like, it's there. Even, like, it was there before you even met the person type shit. My friend Phi was talking about this. He left it on my post. He was talking about, you know, maybe, you know, the connection was already there type shit. Like, because the quantum field is already there, he was talking about, basically. And, like, I was like, I told him next time I see him, we got to talk about this, right? Because that is a great idea. I think that's a great starting point to, like, be like, okay, these connections seem to already be there. Like, the quantum field is already there. We're tapping into it. Like, it's so hard to explain, but these connections are actual real connections, like, somehow. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen that soul family tree thing, right? Where it's like, it says source, but then it has these branches of, like, this soul arm energy things, like, branching off and whatever. It reminded me of that, and I guess it's the same way branches branch off, right? There's, on the top of a branch, I don't know if I can zoom in, no I can't, but on the top of a branch, right, if the branches go up, oh man, oh yeah, hold on, I got a better idea. As the branches go up, right, as the branches go up, it's like some of these are connected at this point, right? So there's 3 on this connection on the end, right? But on this end, there's one that branches off here, and then there's 2 on the end right here that are connected, right? And it, the soul thing was talking about, like, that's kind of like the twin flames are here, and the whatever And it was an interesting concept that, like, it reminded me that, you know, we are all Mother Nature in a sense. We are all this one thing. And the problem is that we just lack spiritual knowledge or spiritual understanding of what is going on soul-wise and spirit-wise and these other dimensions and consciousness and twin flames and soulmates, and like there's all these concepts. But I think this is because the connection thing goes closer to saying there's something that's there that cannot be explained. That's why it gets into these spiritual, what some people would call like woo-woo ideas or whatever. But even to remove the woo-woo ideas, it's like connection just seems to have more depth than attachment, because connection's there even before you realized it. It's why you can have this deep connection with somebody even though you just met them, compared to you could be with someone for 5 years trying to build a connection, but the truth is the only thing you can do is build an attachment. Like, if you're trying to build the, like, connection, the connection's not there. And, like, when I was talking about this, I wasn't trying to sound, like, rude or anything. I was just simply saying, like, attachment is part of relationships as well, right? Like, having an understanding with each other. Even if it's a business partner, even if it's a, you know, whatever, it doesn't really matter what type of relationship it is. You can literally meet somebody and, like, have this deep connection with them to then start a business together, to then change your lives together. Like, it could be that type of, you know, connection. It doesn't have to be this, you know, man and woman type relationship, or this, you know, this type of thing. And that's what I was saying, where it's like, if we can just follow our, fuck yeah, you know, what that bird was doing. But if we could just follow our souls, the connections, like if we follow those connections, I think that those connections will lead us to where we're supposed to be. Like, because this connection feeling I feel is the same feeling I felt when I first started making music. It's why I make music, because it makes me feel connected. It's this primal thing that cannot be explained. It's like, well, I was supposed to do this. I don't know, it's just what I love to do. But you theoretically aren't supposed to do anything. You are supposed to do whatever you feel drawn to. It's a weird thing. But sometimes we're so disconnected, because being connected also means, like, being connected to yourself, to the planet, to your place in the universe. Like, there's so much, there could be so much more deeper aspects to connection, because connection is just knowing where you are connected to, right? If you stand, where are your connections? So, I think that this is about figuring out where your connections are, right? And then moving through those connections. You know, like reconnecting. You know, because I think that's what, I don't know, the more psychedelics I've done, the more I start to see what the fuck these hippies were talking about. But they couldn't explain it. It's so hard to explain that we need to reconnect. What does that mean? That means everything I just said. Reconnect with everything that you are connected to. Not just the earth, not just yourself, not just whatever, but everything you are connected to. Because everything you're connected to is what you're supposed to do, in a sense. It fucking more instills the idea that life is this one giant video game. Because it feels like this is the fucking career mode where you gotta follow your fucking, you follow the connections, it'll lead you to the right path. But as corny as it sounds, as funny as it sounds, it's some real shit. Because the more I follow my connections, the more these things seem to be opening up. Because I felt a connection to NFTs the first time I ever heard that word. the same way I did with DMT. The first time I ever heard. But the same way I felt with DMT, the first time I ever heard that word. Before I knew what DMT was, I heard the word. But I never, like, knew what it was until I just felt drawn to it. And it's the same thing I feel with, you know, NFTs and just, I don't know, everything else I'm doing. Making music, making the album, making these videos, doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. It's just this weird, unexplainable connection that I'm like, yo, this is just what I gotta do. And the more we reconnect, the more you'll kind of see where you need to go, what you need to do. You might have already done it without being aware of it, because it's this unconscious primal thing that we just follow, right? But, you know, it'll lead you in the right direction. Just be more aware of yourself, your thoughts, your surroundings, your ideas, where you want to go, what you want to be, what you want to do, what do you enjoy doing, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. If it doesn't feel good, does that have a purpose? Because sometimes we put ourselves through unnecessary pain for no reason, which serves no purpose or benefit to our future. But sometimes you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone, do things you don't want to do, things that don't feel good, so you can get to a place where you want to be, where you're supposed to be. And that's the difference of, you got to just feel out your own life. And every time men talk about, you know, women feel and men don't or whatever, I'm like, no, we feel in a different way. We still feel. You still have to be able to feel out your environment. Like, humans have been doing this for thousands of years. We just lost touch with it. It's this primal connection, this primal thing of, like, just knowing that, well, it's this feeling. And everything humans do in their life is chopped down to their feelings, man and woman, right? Like, but men are just a little more strategic because we're a little more linear minded. Our brains are a little different than women, like mapped out type shit. But we still have the same type molecules, the same type things, right? We really just need to, like, get more back in touch with ourselves and with what we are. Because I think that's what's happening as technology is evolving, whatever. We think we're disconnecting from Mother Nature, but don't worry. I think what's actually happening is everything's evolving and we're reconnecting. We're going to connect with ourselves through technology, connect with all humans across the planet, all knowledge that we have together. But then, you know, also create like virtual reality worlds and shit and things like that. But also, we still have this world where we're going to reconnect with, you know, psychedelics, Mother Earth, ayahuasca, these other dimensions. I think as quantum mechanics and quantum physics comes up, we're going to completely hit this evolutionary state of, like, a place that we never thought we would be. But it all starts with figuring out where your connections are and following them.